Well, I want to finish with the faith before I go to the other part of mental health. There is something that God revealed to me, I think, because I had a dream about it. I won't talk about much details. But you see, the thing with what they call Gen Z that started in Kenya recently is nothing like Gen Z. People who think it's a new terminology or it's a modern term, it's not. No, it's a spirit of rebellion of rebellion that has happened since time immemorial and has shaped the African politics, including the political landscape of Kenya. And the young people think it's a new thing. No wonder most of them are losing their lives. But actually, Gen Z is just a new term, but the spirit behind it has been there in Kenya for a very long time. In our history class, we learned about the Maji Maji Rebellion. So the spirit of Maji Maji Rebellion has rebranded itself, and they are making sure, the devil is making sure that it spreads across Africa, including Uganda, including everywhere. So if you love your country, you have to go down on your knees and pray for your country. And I do think that if there is a generation that needs more prayer like never before, is our generation. If you look at what the true preachers said back in time and what's happening today, you ask yourself whether we have preachers or we have performers. But for the people and men of God who have stayed to the truth and the way of the cross, we're so grateful. But you realize that we will need the truth of God today like never before. Yes, I will reiterate that we need the way of the cross for our country, for our own lives, for our own sakes, just like never before. Now, I'm not a preacher, and I will end there. Now, on mental health, you see, we are in a political season now in Uganda, and a few days from now, we go into polls. So who wins or who loses, every one of these candidates have their fans. And you and everyone watching, you all have who you support. And this message isn't just about Uganda, but it's about anyone who watches it, because every country has elections. And you have who you support. It's important to mind about your mental health, because politics can destroy you or can build you. I'm not saying you shouldn't participate in politics, but regulate how you participate in politics. Now, in the age of social media, we have a lot of propaganda being spread. Anyone with a phone can sit in Saudi Arabia and post anything. And the way we consume social media can mean a lot how these events play out. And you see, the most horrible thing is that Uganda injects only 1% of its GDP, or of her GDP, into the mental health infrastructure. And with only one hospital with specialized care for mental health issues, Butabika, which only had a capacity of 520 patients, inpatient and outpatient. Today, it's over 1,000. And the most worst thing is that we have about 90 professional doctors or psychiatrist doctors in the country. And about 90 out of 90, about 36 of them are only employed in the known sectors. And Ugandans, I do believe that UBOS gave wrong figures. We are not 47 millions of Ugandans as per the recent census. We are about 50 million Ugandans. At least we have some high number of psychiatric nurses, I think 200 to 300. So if you would say that each Ugandan should have access to specialized treatment, it will mean that every specialist will need to review about 1 million of Ugandans per year. And every psychiatric nurse will have to review 100,000 Ugandans per year, which is impossible. They will break down. But even if it was to be so, where would they see them from? Because we only have one Butabika. The rest are units on regional referral hospitals, sometimes not even functioning, with just a referral to Butabika. Now, Uganda has Africa's highest alcohol per capita drinking rate. We are number 1 in Africa and number 6 in the entire world. And when it comes to stress, I think, and depression and anxiety, we are number 6 in Africa. These are sad facts. Now, when we go back to Butabika, every day, they admit about, or they receive over 20 cases. And weekly, over 100 cases of young people with mental issues. And when we go back to UNBS, we have an unknown number of genes manufactured by unknown factories and individuals on the market with no regulations, with no laws. And the government watches on. And it's upon you, families. And I want to remind you that the people who drink are never affected as the caretakers. Unless if you've never been a caretaker, an alcohol addict. And with the exposure of drugs, with Chisenyi herbs, now I hear Mbarara is now becoming a leading supplier in the Western region. And now for Mbarara, now for Western region, we have another thing. Between the age of 16 to 28, among girls, HIV has increased, partly believed to be fueled by drugs and alcohol. And the question should be, when you say that there are high cases of HIV prevalence rates among women, among young ladies in Western Uganda, it's very funny. Where do they get that? From men. They don't get them from cows, from dogs. They sleep with men. They don't sleep with trees. The number should as well capture men, young boys. And who is responsible? But they attribute it to drugs, to the reckless. Look into this. When buses or private cars are arrested ferrying jet fuel to Mbarara, to the sale point, and who is responsible for that? and who is not doing his job or the hard job? And how on earth is jet fuel leaking into the community, to the society, into the wananchi? You have no passport, but you have access to jet fuel. I even don't know how it looks like. But when you go to Chisenyi, I don't know where they said it from, but when you go to Chisenyi, it's just a call away. You can even order. And we have parents only caring about looking for school fees and how to feed their children when they are back home. And they don't mind about who their children are working with or who they speak with, what they do. When these children entirely can have their phones with handsets into their ears throughout the day, and parents care less. And we have a generation that is abusing its leaders on social media, cursing its leaders. A sick population, a mentally ill population. And parents look on. And I do believe they aren't people from villages, they are people in urban centers. And you look on when this happens. I don't think we have anyone to blame. If we don't do anything today, we will have no excuse about what our generation will become in the next 20 years. It's a collective responsibility. If you don't regulate what you consume on social media, you're likely to fall ill. You're likely to break down. If you don't stop cheating on yourself, you're likely to break down. And soon, you'll be a candidate for Utabika. And I want to tell you this. If you don't know anyone there, you want to get a spot for your loved one. Unless if you know a general or a minister, and you'll have to call them first, to call someone there to get a spot for you. Or else, you're going to have to turn your homes into hospitals. I think we are about to see what's happening in America. There is a press in New York City. They call it a medicine press, medicine area. You go there and you smoke freely. Police officers are seeing you. And anyway, it's happening already in Kampala. Along Hoima Road in Busunju, near Busunju Police Post. The other day, before the renovation of that road improvement project by Abubakar Technical whatever started, near the police post, there was a bar along the road, and even a few meters away, the police is just nearby, and then a few meters away, there is a police roadblock for the traffic, and officers are standing there all day, and there was a stall by the roadside. They were selling Mairunji, and I do believe, because it was in front of a bar, selling Mairunji, and I do believe the marijuana was also being sold there. In front of police, there is even a court, magistrate court, just in Busunju. A few months ago, before the road project reached that point, it's when the store was destroyed by those graders grading the road, the expansion of the road. You see, the little you hear in the news is when a rich man's daughter or a rich man's boy or son is affected. And that's when they make noise. So I am wondering how far more can we wait until hundreds of thousands of young people are affected before the government can wake up to regulate the sale of drugs, the sale of alcohol, and to hunt down the university hotspots and the illegal sale? When? When can we see this? This is iVoice. In the next episode, I'm bringing you one of the community members I came across who tried to secure a spot for her child who was abusing drugs, although she had no money. And she tried Utabika, and it couldn't work out. She will tell us the pains she went through. And the only option they had was to send back this boy to their ancestral home in the north of the country. And I hear they say that when he reached there and the ancestral spirits were appraised that the boy is back home, and they call them ancestral spirits. I don't know if the ancestral spirits were the ones telling him to do drugs. But in the next episode, the next sharing, will appear with her on camera. And I do believe we will learn much. Now, this is iVoices. I encourage you to share these facts. We'll talk about the realities of what's happening. Don't you forget to share this. Please. Let your friends know about us. Give us a like. Share about us. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can please put a comment. Make sure to subscribe next time. Thank you.